players, welcome to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back. Updates before we even do this video. I've started streaming in 4K. That's right, we've started streaming in 4K. We've got the brand new beast. That's right, that freaking $6,000 beast right there. The quality is going up. We love to see it. I've kind of run into a wall. When I say a wall, with my idea of having a green screen hooked up, like multi-PC into the green screen room, I don't have a monitor for the computer that I want in there. So, and I'm having some other technical difficulties, but we adjust, we evolve, we'll get there, okay? But yes, we're streaming in 4K, which is great. You can come and see better quality, and I think I'm recording in 4K. Someone comment down below if you see a 4K option. I don't know, but we're balling. We're balling. But you know what's not balling? Marathon. Man, it's almost like when you have, it's just, there's never good news ever about Marathon. It's like it's like you're betting on failure because it's so free. But before we jump in talking about Marathon, we've got to go to the comment of the day, and I have it right here for you by Jaybird the Greatest. This was in reaction to my video reacting to Paul Tassi on his check-in and his his thoughts on it. So we have here is, all I hear is another skill issue, brother. I don't know if that's like towards me or what, or if it was just in general about Marathon. But I always laugh when I hear this. This is the commonality whenever you give any kind of criticism, not even just by me, by the way, just people in their own community. Marabots will straight up just say it's a skill issue, to say, oh, people don't like Marathon because they have skill issues. Yeah, the only skill issue here is that Bungie made an extraction shooter that couldn't even compete in the gaming market. The skill issue is that it can't compete. That you're right. Marathon cannot compete. It can't compete in the extraction market. It can't, it can't compete in the FPS market. It can't even compete against indie games. There are indie games. There was an indie game made by two dudes in their basement who made 10 million sales. Marathon can't even compete against that. So you're right. It is a skill issue because the people that work at Bungie no longer have the skills to make good games. And the ones that could are fired. Unfortunate. So thank you for this. Now, talking about desperation, some Marathon players are organizing a community event called Marathon Revival Week, which will take place July 21st to 28th. It's funny because you could be like, well, Destiny did that. And you know what? You're right. After they, went into service for the game. Yeah, we're trying to save it. A game, an IP that's been around for 11, 12 years. I know that's not as long as Warframe. Warframe's 13 years, I believe. But it makes sense that people are trying to save the IP, not necessarily the game, because people are okay moving on from Destiny 2 as long as we got Destiny 3. It is comical that it's only been, 3-4 months since the launch of Marathon, and we need a revival week. The idea is simple. Invite a friend to try the game, help new players get started, and leave a review if you enjoyed the game. The community hopes that these small actions will help bring more players to Marathon. Dude, you are like, what even is the Marathon Steam charts? Let's bring him up. Let's trigger some people. Ooh! Ooh! That extra was just for that. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. I want to just make something clear here before we even look, a moment of seriousness. And maybe I want to be very serious, not even comical with this. I dislike the disingenuous line of thoughts that people in general will have, not just about, marathon, because marathon is kind of like the easy, like the marathon, community is full of stupid people. There's some great people, average Joes enjoying the game. And my advice is always, why are you on social media? Why are you watching, hate watching? If you enjoy something and you're intelligent, don't watch, don't consume that content. Just enjoy your game. There's a reason why I never watched people hate on Halo 4, even though I know people hate Halo 4. I played and enjoyed and had a good time, and I still like Halo 4. I know I'm the minority. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I don't need reassurance. I already know people hate it. I have a good time. And I can go back to MC and go play it and enjoy the multiplayer there if anyone's actually playing it. I don't know. It's been a minute. So for the average Joes, but for the people who are desperately trying to convince everyone that they're wrong, you're wrong. And a lot of people are trying to convince people by saying you can't have an opinion, or that people who hate it or people who are stupid because they didn't play the game. We no longer live in the 2000s where you have to rely on Game Informer or word of mouth, or, when you go to GameStop and you watch, the gameplay, or you have to watch on you're watching your whatever channel and you're getting some reviews on video games. You no longer have to rely on the piecemealing what you get and having to spend cash to see if a game is good, especially now that we are no longer getting physical copies of games, and most people outside of Steam don't have really good return policies. Steam will at least give you 2 hours. You're not going to get that from Nintendo, and definitely not Sony. Sony is just awful when it comes to return policies. But in general, you're not going to be able to hey, I don't like this. I can at least trade it to a friend, or I can go to GameStop and, get, $30 back from a $60 game. You no longer have to even rely on that, because we live in the modern age where you can now go to twitch.com, twitchtv.com, or whatever, or is it TV? I don't know. Either way, go to Twitch and you can fully watch people play the whole game, and you can come to a conclusion. You can come to an intellectual conclusion whether you like something or don't like something. You are not required to have to purchase and consume something. Sure, let's say you go to a restaurant and you see and you hear people's feedback. You're looking at the food, but you don't really know. You don't have the whole package, right? I think it's fair. We're playing devil's advocate. You don't know 100% what it tastes like, but you can see it. And this is not a great 1-for-1, right? Because you obviously are not going to sit there and taste a video game, but you can watch someone play the video game. You can get their feedback and how they react, the visuals, some of the gunplay, the interaction, and you can come to a conclusion. Is it worth investing into this? And if you say no, you have a right to give an opinion of why. It's because I don't like the art. I don't like the environment. I don't like the guns, or I don't like the gunplay, or I don't like the characters, or I don't like X, Y, and Z. You as a consumer have a right to do that. I just want to say it is a horrible argument to try to tell people that they can't have an opinion unless they spend hundreds of hours. Go fuck yourself. This is not even, we're no longer in this caveman age. People can rightly observe and consume content through watching on Twitch or YouTube, watching videos. We're no longer in 2000s where you can't, you look at a little thing the Game Informer gives me this. No. You can watch someone play from level 0 all the way to whatever rank, and that gives you an understanding of what it. Sure, there's flavors you're not going to be able to know unless you play it hands on. That's with any game. There's always an aspect that you don't know until you play it. but you can get a generalization. You can say, is it even just looking at it? Am I interested? And if the answer is no, then very rarely does actually playing it change that perception. That's just how it is. So again, and this is not just a marathon only. People have been doing this for other games recently too, where it's, oh, you haven't played it, you don't get an opinion. No, not anymore. That may have been the case back in the day, but no longer now. I know, a little mini rant, but I feel like there's intellectual dishonesty with these people, especially in the marathon community. It's so massive. You no longer have to spend money to have an opinion on a product. You can boycott, you can decide not to support a $1 billion company because the product is not what you want. And you can voice that, and you can criticize it, and you can make fun of it, because that's how the market is. It's the free market. You don't like it, well, you might as well find a safe space and cry in the corner like a little baby back bitch, which we're going to look at someone who's crying like a baby bad bitch in a minute. The organizers say this isn't because they think the game is dead. You can't say it's because you don't think the game is dead, and it's called Marathon Revival Week. You don't try to revive something unless it's dead. You can tell someone hasn't played like an actual MMO. Like when you're like casting spells to revive something, or you're using an item to revive something, it's because it's dead. Even in Pokemon, when you're using a revive to bring back your Pokemon, it's because they were knocked out. They have no HP. There's nothing left. They're out of they're useless. They're gone, Jim. It's like, guys, we're making a revival week, but the game's not dead. They see it as a community-driven effort to grow the player base and give the game a boost. Don't laugh. So what do we got here? Noah streamer asked them to help. Anyone who didn't try this game is yes, but I want you to know that yes, people like me will call out and make fun of people in the marathon community. We're the people that are probably never going to be a part of it. And by the way, I've actually played marathon. I played the alpha, I played the beta, and I played season 2 in the free. Like, I've actually played, and I've actually been pretty tame. If you look all the way back when I actually reacted and gave a first impression for the beta, I said Marathon was like a 6. It was an average game. It felt like an early access game, which it still does. And I've never seen a fully released game dramatically change itself, which is what it's doing. It's evolved. They're constantly trying to throw things at the wall to see if it sticks. They're turning themselves into arc raiders, desperately trying to get people to play. Everything about what they tried to make Marathon, this hardcore, this is sweat fest. And now it's like, hey, we're going to make it easier. We're going to make it PvE. We're completely tuning it. Like, people were making fun of people wanting to be able to do PvE, like the compiler, and even Bungie on their Marathon account was making fun of people saying, hey, just kill all the people, then you can do it. Like, and now we're getting to the point where now you get to play and fight the compiler without actually doing PvP. Isn't that funny how that works? So, but just the point is, as you are already the outcast in the gaming community, Marathon is far and wide hated and not liked and not respected. The last thing you want to do is try to throw stones at a glass house, because it's not going to work out for you. You can't call people names when you yourself are the main target of everyone calling you that. Let's see. Nothing like hostile players berating people who might or not play the game. Stupid. Yeah, exactly. Nothing will encourage people to join your community by insulting them. Yes. Please be part of we want you to play our game. If you don't, you're stupid. You're dumb. At this point, not even Bungie wants to keep trying. Otherwise, they'd release it on PS Plus to get. Bungie Marathon is about a space marine in the middle of an alien invasion inside a distressed space station while you're being accompanied by station's AI and things getting existential crisis in there while dive deeper. Nothing about it. Extraction. Okay. Reading that, I already had a mental breakdown. The community in question. Yeah. So yeah, as you can tell, people already having a good time. Let's see. People are being really weird about fans of the game wanting more people to play it. Bungie players need to just move on from their games. Now come to where we throw our heads back into laughter. Guys doing CPR. No, he's fine. I'm just pushing air into his lungs because he's so healthy, but he could be healthier. Yes, it's not dead. Why does it need... The process of bringing something back to life, conscious or popularity. See, that's the thing. You can't bring something into popularity if it was never in popularity. Try. Just burn the game down. Okay, so we're moving on from that. So even Bungie, people have been really mad about Bungie and how they went quiet about Marathon. And this has got to be the funniest thing. If people thought that, things would be so much better at Marathon, that that Marathon got all the bells and whistles and it's going to be so much better than Destiny. We've temporarily disabled 4 affected weapon skins from this week's bundle while we work on the fix. By the way, the bundle is MTX. This is how they're supposed to make money. These cosmetics shipped with unfinished art and could cause weapons to appear mostly invisible in game. If you own them already, they'll be unavailable to equip for now, but ownership is preserved. A fix will be arrived next week with our mid-season update. The RG Bully will always remember this time with you fondly. And I went from stealing art to not finishing it. And it's MTX. Like, how are you going to screw up the little income you get from the game? Man, that's why it's so funny to react, because when you think that Bungie can do something stupider, I said stupider. More stupid is the appropriate grammar, but I'm going to say stupider anyways. Stupider. They fuck up their own MTX. And it's art that they didn't even finish. They were like, guys, that's how you know that, this is funny, by the way. If this was Destiny 2, it would have been polished. Sure, there was some issues with Destiny, like some of the hoods and stuff would disappear, but mostly it was finished. And it was probably the most glorious looking shit that you wish was in the end game. Like, that was the problem with Destiny, is that all the good shit wasn't in the end game like you'd think it would be. It was in the shopping mall. In this case, they're not even trying. Not only does Marathon feel like it's not a finished game, they're not even finishing their own skins to sell. They're shoving it out the door. It's not even cooked. You got raw beef. Not the good, not like a steak. It's literally just raw beef. You can't make this shit up, man. But we got this. We got people. People are desperately trying to stand on the cope train. Did we forget that Bungie had an original trilogy of Marathon IP? I think Bungie forgot that they had an original trilogy from Marathon IP, because most people who actually played the original would tell you. And by the way, I've watched people talk about it. This new Marathon has very little to even do with the original trilogy. So apparently Bungie forgot a very successful one, which preceded both Halo and Destiny and began many of the foundations of what Bungie went on to make. Yeah, It was so successful that they brought it back, not in the state that they had made it originally, but they made it into a completely different game that no one asked for. You know, if they had came back and say, hey, we're going to make this in the style of like Halo or a single player campaign or throw back to the original Marathon. No, they decided to make something that they never made before. And this is what we have. By the way, I'm very interested. Let's just fact check. I'm curious. Very successful retreat. Is this a true statement? Fact check. Get your fact check. Oh, just get the fact check. Was the original trilogy IP a very successful one? Is this a true statement? I'm always curious. Is because the people will throw out things, and they just gotta know. Now I'm curious if it's going to pull. Like I see some analytics stuff, and I'm wondering. Yes, this is a true. The original Marathon trilogy, often just called the Marathon trilogy, refers to Bungie's 3 classic sci-fi. Which, okay, commercial. It was a commercial success for its time and platform, especially on the Macintosh where it was primarily released. The first game sold over 100K units. Can we just talk about how it sold 100 units on the Macintosh? But Marathon couldn't even sell 100 copies. Oh, sorry. Let me correct myself. They sold 1.5 million. I was thinking people are actually playing the game. They made sales. No one's playing it. Lifetime sales. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, compare this. Let's just compare. How does the original Marathon success compare to the 2026 version of Marathon? Is it also a success? Let's just compare it. Yeah, you want to compare Marathon, the trilogy was successful. Now, how about the standards? Like, if 100K sales was big, 1.5 million is not big. Damn, things have changed. That tells you how much gaming has grown since then. Yes, it's clear side-by-side comparison of the original and the new Marathon release sales. Okay, maybe I did not work. Yeah, I guess if you put 150K versus 1.2 million, yes, it's a success. Okay. I'm not. Both received praise for gunplay. Final verdict is also Is the final verdict success also success? No, not really. Oh shit. Was a clear success in context. The version sold more copies, has more positive gameplay reviews, so it's not a total disaster like Holy shit. Even Grok is like, we're gonna parrot what they say. We're gonna parrot what they say. It found a dedicated niche audience. However, it has been a commercial underperformer relative to its massive budget and Sony's expectations for a big live service hit. The declining player count, layoffs, and financial hit to Sony show it didn't deliver the blockbuster results it hoped for. Original strong success, mixed partial success for players who like it, but a disappointment from a business and blockbuster standpoint. Damn. So, just so we're all clear, success, standard modern Marathon, failure. By the way, the people that made this, most of the people that made the modern, the classic Marathon that's being cited here, they probably got fired. Go figure. We're going to go on a mini rant here. we're going to end the video going on a mini rant because I don't know where else to put this. So we're tagging it all together. We've got Marathon's poster boy having a mental breakdown over Steam charts. So we have Paul Tassi, Power World came, released 1.0. Everyone's having a good time. Sure, there's a weird pocket of Nintendo fanboys that are stupid. By the way, there's a difference being a fan of Nintendo and being a Nintendo fanboy. We all can, agree that Nintendo fanboys are just retarded. But in general, so we have Paul Tassi. The Steam chart story of the day is that Power World's success launched, second launch, puts it inside the top 20 of all-time concurrent. By the way, the developer also posted the Steam chart celebrating it. I think his name's Bucky. I don't know if he's a developer or a lead. I don't remember what it was, but he posted about it. So Scare was like, all right, this is war. Why is it bad if it's good? You know that Bungie's poster boy is upset that Marathon is not getting any love when this is what he has to say. Steam player numbers, like stock prices and betting odds, are singular pieces of data that are treated like complete data sets by the absolute worst people. You mean people that are calling out billion-dollar companies? And I'm not even talking about me. I know exactly who he's actually referring to. But in general, calling out billion-dollar companies making games that people don't want. This behavior has absolutely fucked the vibe around so many things that I love. Yeah. Is it because they fucked it, or is it because the things you love are just dog shit? In this case, they're just dog shit. Any normalization of this behavior is a net negative. Regardless if it's a singular piece of news, it's seen as positive or negative. The official Power World account was bragging about it this morning. They brag about it because they know hordes of chuds. You know you're a salty bitch when the developers are celebrating with the community, saying thank you for supporting us. And then you have Scarrow, poster boy for the shittiest game release of 2026. Actually, that's not true. I think Relooted might be the worst. That was probably the biggest failure I think I've seen this year was Relooted. I will never forget. Like it's in back of my brain. Literally watched an African American streamer. Just happened to watch him, and even they thought it was racist as AF. Like it was a dumpster truck. Like what is it? But Marathon's a close second. He's so mad. He's so mad. There's a reason they chose only Steam instead of digging into total player counts across all platforms to the tweet. I don't know, man. This seems like a reach to be mad about. I get that Marathon spam sucks, but to say the figures mean nothing or it's being cited for chuds doesn't track me. I'm sure they'll post other numbers later. Nah, it started long before Marathon. This shit's been plaguing Destiny for half a decade. Yeah, because people are calling out Scarrow was such a stupid, disingenuous person. This is why I don't like this person. I don't like him. Yes, people were citing the player count because there is a correlation. Sure, let's concede some generality. You're not going to get the whole pie. You're going to get a slice of it. But you can taste the pie and know what the rest of the pie possibly tastes like. Right? If it tastes like cherry, there's a good chance the rest of the pie tastes like cherry. In this case, where we're looking at data, does this we know that Marathon has sold 1.5 million copies. At least that's the estimate that's been cited. All-time playing is 88 at one time. That's the height. We know 70% is PC. 30% is going to be console. Okay. Does that mean that this is no longer valid data? Like it's completely wrong? No. There is a trend. It's a trend line. You can infer from trends. There is a downward trend. And just because it has some people have bought it doesn't mean, one, it doesn't include returns if people returned it. And secondly, it's obvious that people aren't retained. They may buy it and go over the 2-hour limit and they can no longer return it. So they are just owners of it. Just because you buy something doesn't mean you still play it. As someone who has 200 something fucking games in his library, let's be honest, gamers out there, if you bought multiple games, there's a good chance you have a game in your library that probably had a shit ton of sales, but that doesn't mean everyone's playing it. And that's another point to point that just sales alone isn't indicative of the whole pie either. In this case, it's a net negative for Marathon because, and you would think, oh, maybe there's more playing. No, because on a weekend where people are generally off and you compare this to other games, they're going to have higher highs. Marathon has low lows, which mean even on weekends, the peak is not even high. It's not changing. You can infer the trend line. You may not know the exact number of people that play on like a Saturday, but you know that it's less than when it launched. You know that there's less people interested than when the game launched versus, season 1 to the launch of season 2. Season 2 had dramatically less, even for a free weekend. Again, we don't have to know the exact, we would love to know the exact numbers, but we're never going to get these numbers. Look at like Resident Evil 9. They were celebrating how many people they actually got total, like 9 million or something. I don't remember. You haven't heard anything from Bungie, and that's because they haven't been really doing well. That's right. That's when you also heard the earnings call with Sony. They cited retention, but they didn't cite population. There's a difference. Retention, you can have 5 dudes that play all the time say we have high retention. Well, those 5 dudes are playing, but when you have a population that's thriving and booming, that's different, right? But anyways, it's an incomplete measure of commercial success propped up by people who have no understanding of data analysis. I'm going to say something very, you are right, but you are included in that. You are a chemist who's fondling the balls of $1 billion company. You have friends at the studio. Shut the fuck up. You don't get to be, it's like the Spider-Man meme. You don't get to point at other people. No, you're not an analyst either. By the way, you can't play this card either because guess what? We've had Paul Tassi and other people like Jason, I think it was Jason Shire, and someone else pointing out that the numbers are pretty accurate when it comes to the financial failure that is Marathon. People are like, okay, this is what it looks like. Oh, we have insiders saying that's true. Like, again, you can make inferences. Doesn't always mean it's 100% valid. In this case, it is. Care of you all people, Mr. PhD should know that even though it is an incomplete data sheet, it can be indicative of the larger data set of a patterns. Yes, doctor, dude, don't suck your own dick. Listen, I only cite my master's degree when I talk about psychology because it's my field. You having a doctorate in chemistry has fucking nothing to do with the data of a video game. Shut the fuck up. Stop sucking your own dick. The entire point I've been making over the past half decade, yeah, and there's a reason no one listens to you nor respects you, is because you are eating the dick of $1 billion company. It's been Bungie. By the way, your personality is Bungie. You are not known for anything else. That's why it's his 9/11, which we'll look at some more points that this is his 9/11. I have, in my opinion of wide number of devs I've spoken to, you mean just Bungie? Because you definitely don't interact with any fucking one else. Steam player counts is often not indicative of the larger conclusion people use to jump to. But that's probably not the case, right? A large number. Well, in that case, when we're talking about Bungie, that is the case. When we look at Resident Evil 9, that was the case. When we look at Spire, that was the case. When we look at Subnautica, that was the case. Again, you I just want to say you're just putting out bullshit when we have actual examples where that's just not true. Sometimes in the positive. Also, you say this and discount the fact that a developer of Power World posted it. Okay, yeah, you, the little Andy, know better. Shut the fuck up. Sometimes in the positive and sometimes negative, but either way, it's not always directly correlated. So boast about numbers when it's positive, but ignore all the metrics when it's negative. Because no, you're wrong. He's being negative about Power World. This started because I replied on positive numbers about a game I like. Yeah, you sure showed you liked it. I know, especially since developers only trying to make the chuds happy. I know you have a long history of brain dead replies, but please fucking read before you waste anyone's time. And you have a history of sucking so much dick that you can't like. Like, it's funny to see him say this to other people when the dude literally has made statements about people being Nazis in his comments, or he just gets death threats. Like, everything is a death threat. Everyone's a Nazi. It's such a clown take. It's so stupid. Any normalization of posting a chart I don't like is net negative. I'm literally crying about a chart that's positive about a game I really enjoy and want to succeed. Sit down, Among Us. Well, you're literally doing exactly that. Didn't you declare war with a journal? Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next post. At least no one will be able to post Steam charts about my beloved Power World. You know, he's so mad. I love, and by the way, I want to say that people like Scarrow, you should not subscribe to. You should not get support. You should boycott them. And here's why. They're not pro gamer. They're bitching about Steam charts, which is the only version of data that we have. As a consumer, it's the only thing you have to latch on because these companies are not in the business of telling you the truth. They're not in the business to give you an insight about a product. They're not going to tell you. Hell, they're even Sony, their own shareholders, they're gaslighting and giving a deceptive, picture of how things are going, talking about retention versus popularity and how many people are actually playing that, adding to the retention of that, right? These people are not, when he gets upset about Steam charts, he's not advertising or saying, hey, we need to improve. If you want data, then we need to push for more open data. No, he just wants Steam charts to go away because he's upset that his game that's dog shit is getting shit on. And so these people are anti-gamer. They're anti-consumer. They would rather hide data because they don't like it or they don't like what it's being used for and remove the availability for people to make decisions based on what little data they have. He's anti-consumer. I found it so funny. Not having anything that I've really looked forward to in the near future for gaming has really got me feeling shitty, not gonna lie. Anyone got a secret FPS MMO RPG with extensive puzzles, team-based challenge elements they want to shadow drop? Zombies is about to be MIA for Destiny for 2 years. Destiny has been killed and in ditch somewhere. Bungie refuses to talk about Marathon. I didn't connect with Borderlands 4. And the next closest competitors, Destiny, are both third person and going on like 10 years of content. I'm so happy he will not go to Warframe. It is his 9/11. His personality has been Bungie. He doesn't even know what the fuck to do with himself. Well, at least you don't have to worry about putting it in the... You don't have to worry about putting the fries in the bag. You can focus on your career with your Mr. Doctor. I'm so glad that with Bungie shuts down, he will disappear into Ethos. Maybe just stay in the Call of Duty world. That's fine. But he'll disappear. And I'm okay with Maddox going to Warframe. Listen, we're all about positivity in Warframe because they actually earned it. They actually deserved it. Their developers care about the community and don't gaslight them. Their CEO actually plays and talks and has, interacts with the game and the community and is excited. Like, there's actual involvement in that studio versus the toxic positivity that was in Bungie. Thank goodness I had literally no idea what we're going to talk to. I know it seems like I'm shitting on this, but I just want to put an image together that these people they feel the walls, because he's just a slice of the pie with the marathon community. They all feel the walls coming for them. And so they're like, we don't know what to talk about. Destiny stuff, feeling kind of lost, to be Hey, you know what? When one game gets shut down and the other one's a pile of shit, I would feel lost too. I would feel lost too. GG, it's over. Marathon, it will die. I'm telling you, I'm not putting a date on it. I'm treating this like Anthem. Anyone that said this is another Concord, I always said it was closer to Anthem. And I also would say that I think Marathon deserves its own bracket, because I think Marathon was a bigger failure than Anthem, just by the scope that Anthem was made by EA, BioWare, but BioWare is not Bungie, the creators of Halo and Destiny. Like, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same hit, the impact, the pool. It just doesn't have it. And so that's why I think when I would put Marathon in a bracket called legendary failures, because Concord isn't legendary. It wasn't by a legendary studio, like someone who literally, a studio that changed gaming. I mean, Bungie made Halo, which absolutely altered FPS gaming. It skyrocketed because of Halo. Now, Bungie really, let's be honest here. Bungie's gunplay is not as special most games have come up a par. Like, they have competition. Bungie's gunplay can no longer carry on its own. I know people don't want to hear that, but this is the reality. Most modern FPSs feel good. Most of them, the issue is usually other parts of the game that bring it down. Like, let's stop acting like Bungie has a patent on best gunplay ever. They don't. Like, if I were to say, comparing it to Destiny to Call of Duty, personally, I would give it to Destiny. I still think Bungie does have good. It's still there, but not by much. Most FPSs have improved. Let's just be honest. So the clutching to the pearls of gunplay, that is no longer the case. You can no longer carry when the competitors also have similar to near gunplay. So again, the whole feature of this video is that people are, they're feeling the walls closing in. They're trying to delude themselves, and now we're gonna have a revival party. It's cope. This is, what this is? This video is cope. They're coping about reviving the game, or coping about, people, not being able to make educated, critical thought, inspired decisions. People actually think. Sure, I'm going to concede that there's probably people who just see something and they jump on the bandwagon that game is bad, and they don't even watch or give it a shot. Sure, I'm not saying that those people don't exist. But the majority have looked, watched, and even played on the free, or have had someone else who's played, and they trust their experience because they play with that person. And hey, how was it? It was ass. Okay, I don't want to buy it, because they know that person, they trust that person and their feedback. Yeah. It is. It's called consumerism 101. And no matter how much you get mad, it will never change. which you know what's funny? The marathon community was so insufferable when people were trying to, do the petition for Destiny 3 was ongoing, and people were trying to do the same kind of similar thing for the launch of Monument of Triumphs or whatever, and just try to convince Sony to do PlayStation 3. The marathon community did quite a bit of making fun of people for that. So if you think it's unfair to make fun of people for doing a revival week, you get what you deserve. Karma. Anyways, we'll see how that plays out. Just know, and I'm going to tell you right now, when this happens this week that they launch and it doesn't see an improvement, you will see so many videos making fun of this. It will be a clown show. By the way, it's good. The 28th, you will see a lot more people playing Halo than you will see Marathon. It is almost ironic that they chose the 28th, the launch of Halo, to be the end date, because it will actually end, if there's any, improvement, it will go down the drain the 28th. Because actually, I take that back. Halo comes out the 23rd. This week is fucked. You're fucked. I guarantee people will be playing Halo. We'll see. I'm interested I'm going to look for you guys. We're going to look at the player, the Twitch viewing. Are more people watching the Halo remake, or are they, watching Marathon? We'll see. It's going to be interesting to see. I'll see you in the next one. As always, game up!